So now that's actually one thing I wanted to talk with you. Is there any system that you have developed yourself to work with bipolar cases, or you say you even take on people who have like acute psychosis? I mean, this is all just, for me, it's just words of just different intensity, but the basic issue is that what you describe also, and this is such a wonderful video on your YouTube channel that describes this one young guy who goes from being totally settled in a family and in a religion and in a relationship to his parents and to his country and to his, I don't know, sexuality, and to his, everything, that the main issues are taken away. And then it just took another, maybe one beer too much, and then this psychosis happens, and this what you went through. So, but it's not really the cause. The cause is that all the pillars have fallen away, and which happened for you also, and which happened for me also. And then what you do to, well, you certainly don't want to get them back to where they came from. You want to put them into a new, better position, because that's what most doctors, they just want to fix, basically bring them back to normal. Back to normal, and then the poor soul says, my God, I went through all this nonsense here, and you want to basically take all the possibilities away. Yes? But what are you doing actually to help people?
Like what's our methodology? Well, first, I mean, the most important thing is that we're both, at least on YouTube, we're messengers. I feel like I'm more of a messenger than a therapist. I had 10 years in advertising before I did this work. And it's a total surprise that I'm doing it, to tell you the truth. But, I'm a messenger for the pioneers of transpersonal psychology. Dr. Stanislav Grof, Dr. David Lukoff, Dr. John Weir Perry, and Dr. Lauren Mosher, who wasn't transpersonal, but this kind of guy. And, their whole thing was about when you have someone who's in you could call it a spiritual crisis, you could call it acute psychosis, but if you have somebody in that state and they are not grounded, the worst thing you can do is force them to come back with either medications or by manipulation or violence or grabbing them or yelling at them, snap out of it. A lot of people want to do that when somebody thinks that they're Jesus or thinks that they're dying or starting to take their clothes off. Somebody takes their clothes off, what do you want to do? Put your clothes back on, right? But our approach is, and it's quite controversial, like these doctors, their work is controversial, is that you need to help a person trust the process, go into the other side, into the non-ordinary state. And there, if they can trust that process, there will be a healing process that will take place from what Dr. Stan Grof refers to as an inner healer. There's basically God. Like there's a higher intelligence that's a part of us, and when you surrender to that intelligence, then the healing becomes automatic. And in some cases, it's very visible, because you have people that will go into regressions, into birth process or into childhood trauma, and they start talking to you, like in this one case, we had a guy who started talking to Leisha as if he was, 5 or 6 years old? Yeah, and he was talking about how the teachers are going to punish him. And he wanted to know who Leisha was. He knew who she was, but in this moment of regression, he didn't know who she was. But after a few hours, he came back with the help of Leisha. He came back with a big and he didn't remember anything. He had no recollection of the previous 2 hours, right? So, and immediately after that experience, he told us, he said, before today, my childhood was here. Now my childhood is here. His whole life had been clouded by his childhood traumas. And no amount of conversation was going to get him through that. He needed to be regressed into that. And in his case, the regression was completely spontaneous. We were just there meditating, and the next thing you know, he's going into a birth regression.
So that's one of the things you do. You meditate with the person. I mean, looking for what are the actually 1, 2, 3 steps, or you don't have anything like this. You have a protocol to, if somebody comes, what do you do? What do you do with a person? Do you first make an anamnesis, or you?
It's hard to say because people are going to come to you in different points of their thing. So some people will come to us and say, "Hey, I want to get off my medication," and they're completely fine, but they want to get off the medication. But then we might find ourselves in a place where that person is right in the middle of a psychosis right now. See, so the step process would be different for everybody. But the first step would be, hopefully in an ideal situation, would be to educate people and validate the experiences that they're having. Because many people are told that if they had a spiritual experience, it's because they're mentally disabled, that they can't trust their own mind. So they were delusional and thought they need to write a Bible to save the world, and the psychiatrist writes a prescription. But Dr. David Lukoff, who we based our work on, he thought that he was Jesus and Buddha, and he was here on a missionary journey to save the world, and started writing his own Bible to do this, And he's the co-president of transpersonal psychology now, you see. So it's important when people have had these very difficult spiritual experiences that often get labeled acute psychosis, that often get labeled bipolar disorder, that their experiences are validated as symbolically important. Not that, oh, you're Jesus, congratulations, but that you come in touch with your own Christ consciousness, and that needs to be respected, and we need to figure out how you can integrate that Christ consciousness into your daily life, And we got to get them ready, if they come off the medications, that they're less fearful of the process of psychosis.
I think the main issue, or the main thing that you're giving to the world is that to show that this is not a mistake. There's not a mistake that happened, and there's a purpose. You see, there's a purpose for this. Whereas all usual doctors, they think there's a problem. We have to fix this, and it would have been better if it would not have happened. But now we have it, so we have to deal with this. So it's the opposite, and actually